Well, that didn't take long. Uh, Here I go on forever in the last episode, but I finally found one I didn't like watching. Am I finally tired of it? Is this where the show started to lose its touch or whatever? But yeah, very next episode, right back to doing a great job. And I can't even wait till the end of the episode to say that because yeah, I can't pretend I saw this coming. I didn't. Last episode, I was sort of implying this was new direction now, maybe time to look at the downside, but yeah, it'd be kind of silly to let that keep going for half an episode, so yeah, right off the bat, it's good again, and it's almost a shame too, because I mean, this, for the unbiased perspective that I'm trying to be here, I mean, this series has been just so, time and again, affirming the fan base, just why they have every reason to think what they think, and I mean, you think there'd be another side to it, just how I mean, no show you think could live up to the wave that this has caused. Just the memes and the the internet videos, and just the internet bronies. I mean, we have Whovians and Trekkies to be sure, but I mean, yeah, bronies is well, that's a lot. It's a lot more. It calls a lot more attention to itself. I'll say that, but I mean, yeah, well, I don't know. You think there'd be something where it's just okay. It's more just the fans perpetuating it, but yeah, no. So far as it seems, the show can at least live up to its critical reception. Yeah, and it wasn't even. I mean, this wasn't even a dragged out sort of. It wasn't like the episode was as it was going. I was just like, okay, you might be winning me back, but no. Right from the start, it had me. It was so. Yeah, I'll know better next time if I ever hit a slow spot. But okay. Anyway, the episode itself. This is Over a Barrel, and let's see. We start out. They're on a train pulled by horses. That's kind of odd. What's the need for the train on the railroad tracks? But okay, unless that's just to point out where they're going. But all right. So yeah, Applejack has gotten in touch with her family. I guess she's coming to see their new town. I guess her family just kind of settled in a new town, or her family and other members. I don't know if it's just her family, but okay, never mind. She's bringing them a new apple tree, and it's one of her favorites. I guess Applejack, picking apples, apple trees, they're one of her pleasures, so she has it tucked in, and she's reading it a story, just so worried about how, apple tree, how it's upsetting for trees to be replanted, but I mean, she just gushing over the thing. You can tell she's so affectionate over it, and it was adorable. But that, I don't even know how they did it. Just the way she says what she says, you could it just sounded so genuine. So props to the voice actress on that one. But yeah, Rarity comes in. Are you reading a bedtime story to a tree? And she come to complain that yeah, the tree has a car all to itself, and Rarity has to share with everyone else. But yeah, Applejack won't even hear of it. Well, I mean, she's a little bit embarrassed by the cynicism, but she, yeah, just is even more concerned with this tree. Rarity is talking about how silly this is. She's kind of hugging the tree, oh, don't listen to it. And that would sound really inane, but I mean, I don't know. It's just it's more like the teenage girl with the doll she could never quite outgrow. It's not even because that Applejack is particularly inane. It's just this is her one weakness. So adorable. And then yeah, they cut to the car and that the others are in, I guess, later that night, and they're all having a great time. I mean, slumber party on a train. I mean, I've been on a couple of trains for long distance, and it can be pretty cool. So that was, but anyway, so yeah, they're getting into this party. I guess they're having, and but Spike and Rarity just really want to go to sleep. Rarity because she's Rarity, she needs a beauty sleep, and Spike because he was up early making the snacks. So you get this pretty funny moment between him and Rainbow Dash, or just not even caring. He starts just yeah, by the way, you missed a few of the kernels, so he nearly shoots her head off with his fire breath, and just yeah, completely ruins her popcorn, except for one kernel that then pops in her eye. But okay, so yeah, point for Spike there. He went up to her, but and then yeah, what else? Even then though, the Twilight finally relents, okay, we'll shut off the lights for them, but then Pinkie Pie and Rainbow Dash start having this conversation by candlelight, where yeah, Pinkie Pie is sort of a name. Rainbow Dash asks, yeah, do you think we'll have to carry that heavy tree to all the way to the town. Pinkie Pie's like, what, you mean Applejack tree? The only tree on the plains for Rainbow Dash. She tries to get sarcastic, and Pinkie Pie doesn't even get it. No, Fluttershy. Fluttershy's not a tree, and then Rainbow Dash actually kind of has to pay for that one when everyone starts waking up and like, wait, you called Fluttershy a tree? And I mean, I couldn't do it justice, but the way they stage the conversation is really well. And then Fluttershy is the last one to get up. She's like, to Crimson settles the debate, I'd like to be a tree, which I'm not sure the writers can tell me why, but something about that is just so Fluttershy. Like, it somehow fits, even though that's a very strange thing to say. But okay. Yeah, but then Spike gets fed up. He just like wakes up growling and then storms off into the next cart to go sleep with Bloomberg. And yeah, he also seems to appreciate Applejack's feelings for it a little more. He just, instead of, I don't know, swiping the blanket off the tree, he gets in bed next to it, just like, I hope you don't mind, I snore. Which, okay, but yeah, the others are still laughing it up about him, just how short-tempered he is. When Rarity wakes up with her beauty mask that makes her look like the hideous monster in the candlelight and screams at them to go back to bed, so they all, yeah, are scared back to sleep. And then cut to the next day, and they're all woken up, they're knocked out of bed by a stampede of buffalo, which just come running up alongside the train, and, you know, they kind of hint that, okay, this is not a good thing, or yeah, something, the conflict's starting to happen. They start fighting with the horses pulling the train, like, bumping into each other, and then, meanwhile, though, the ones in the back, they start jumping on top of one another, and, yeah, they get commentary from Pinkie Pie, who was in silly top form once again, just like, I mean, I said last episode she was, kind of forcing this shtick where she, telling everyone, forcing Twilight to keep secrets, and then that, one line she had that was kind of forced about, yeah, I left my lips and threw away the key and buried it with, I don't know, just even the timing of it wasn't good. But I mean, yeah, was trying to force this routine that was really just an excuse to drag out the conflict, but, now this time she's right back to just, like, complete genuine delivery of, yeah, whatever's on her mind, however Pinkie Pie works. It's just delightfully silly, so, yeah, she's in top form, but, okay, she's commenting on the buffalo piling on, just like, ooh, do backflips, they're doing tricks, this is great. And then, yeah, this little buffalo, who, becomes an important character later, she runs up, jumps on, yeah, on top of the pile, and then jumps onto the train. I guess she's kind of the key player in this scheme here, because, yeah, then they hear her on top, she starts making her way towards the back, and Rainbow Dash, unlike Pinkie Pie, is able to put together that, okay, this is probably something this is suspicious at very least, so she flies out to confront the little buffalo on the train, flies after her, and every time she gets in front of the buffalo, she just completely ignores her, jumps over her, runs around her, and Rainbow kind of gives her one too many chances, because, I mean, eventually she, yeah, realizes that, yeah, okay, the buffalo's not going to talk. She runs, tries to catch her, but, yeah, now they're too close to the end of the train, and the buffalo dives in between the last two cars. Rainbow just misses her, hits a sign, and, like a railroad crossing sign. I don't know why you need a railroad crossing sign when there's only one track in the middle of the desert, but unfortunately for Rainbow, they do for some reason, so, okay. Yeah, she crashes, she's out for now. The buffalo unhooks the last car, which it turns out was the plan, so the rest of them all come back. They shuffle the car off in a different direction, taking the tree and Spike, who, yeah, remember, went to bunk with it, so, okay, he's kidnapped, and then, yeah, the train leaves Rainbow behind, and she, instead of going after it, she follows them to rescue Spike. She, is, yeah, like, really mad now, ready for round two, and like, you kind of want to see her, because that was, like, right there, she could have so easily had it. You want to see her get up for round two and show them, but, okay, meanwhile, the others, they go the rest of the way to the town, and they run into Applejack's cousin there, who, yeah, starts greeting them right away, talking over them as they try to tell him it's an emergency. And one thing they do say, they've lost Pinkie Pie, who was with them the very last time we saw them, so, I mean, okay, I'm wondering if there was a scene cut out there, but regardless, just keep the episode moving. They try to tell him, but he shuffles them, pushes them through a tour of the town, just talking over them, and, yeah, which, an excuse for some Old West jokes that are actually pretty good, like, how ponies do the Old West. They have salt saloons instead, complete with this completely like old school generic, big mustache bartender rowing out ponies he thinks to have had too much salt, and what else? Yeah, horse-drawn carriages, but ponies, remember, they cut to one of those, and then the horse pulling the carriage looks back at the passenger. He's like, "All right, it's your turn to pull now." No, it isn't. We just switched. So, okay. Oh, and then they have horse-drawn carriages. Just, painting pictures of the carriages and just hitting us with these puns. That I mean, they say the pun is the lowest form of humor, but not when it's done cleverly enough. So, I mean, that was a lot of fun. Just very creative, I'll say that. But okay, then they finally get the message across, and the cousin, he says that okay, he realizes when it's about the buffalo exactly what the problem is, because these buffalo want them to clear away all the apple trees they've planted, which they need to live. So okay, he knows they're in trouble, or well, he knows that they're trouble, and I mean, who's in trouble is get to that later. But okay, so the others get ready to go on a rescue mission, and meanwhile, Rainbow Dash is making her way into the buffalo territory, but she runs into Pinkie Pie, who turns out is also trying to rescue Spike, but Pinkie is a little less focused. So I mean, she just starts rambling at Rainbow Dash, just like she's just I don't know, on vacation or something. Just like she's just happy to run into her there, and she accidentally gives them away. The buffalo surround them, so just as we're about to see Rainbow Dash try to take on a whole herd of buffalo, Spike steps out from in between them. He says, "It's okay, they're with me." And turns out the buffalo really like Spike now, and what happened was they didn't actually intend to kidnap him. They just wanted the tree. Well, you figured as much, but they actually really respect dragons. I guess that's a sacred animal to the buffalo. But okay, so they've taken him in. They're treating him like an honored guest, and even though they don't like ponies much, they let Rainbow and Pinkie Pie come too because they're with him. So okay, and they give him turquoise, which was a nice little touch there. How that's more of a gemstone you'd find in like that sort of an area. And okay, so he's stuffing down all the free turquoise he can eat, and he tries to explain though what the buffalo are about, that they're not just bullies. I mean, it becomes pretty clear pretty quick what this is a metaphor for. But okay, what happens next? Rainbow and Pinkie Pie there. Pinkie Pie's having a great time just eating the food that you get the sense wasn't the best they could have offered them, but they don't like ponies. But even so, Pinkie Pie loves it. Rainbow is waiting to get away, and then the little buffalo from the train comes out. She's the one who's actually serving Spike, and her name is Little Strongheart. And Rainbow's ready to take off the minute she sees her. It's like, oh yeah, doesn't like her, still holds a grudge. But it turns out that even though she kind of seemed like a different character on the train, like she was sort of enjoying getting the best of Rainbow Dash. Here, she's totally apologetic, and I mean, I guess maybe just Spike has changed her mind. But it turns out, I mean, the buffalo, they're not trying to start a fight, or at least in their minds, they're not. And I mean, you could argue they weren't at all, because as they go to meet the Little Strongheart takes them to meet the chief, who explains that the grounds that the apple trees were planted on, first of all, they were the buffalo's territory first, and second of all, they're very important to the buffalo. It's like a tradition to stampede across them, and I mean, I guess not only a tradition, it's sort of implied that, I mean, there's more land that the buffalo have to tend to, but they can't really run through an apple orchard, so I mean, they're stuck just in this one part of the land that they own, and they basically got totally screwed. A new town just moved in and blocked off their land. So okay, but at the same time, I've seen plots like this before, but they don't treat it like this is the end all be all, like you interrupted a sacred thing. Like it's important, but I mean it's important to the buffalo. It pertains to them. Like this chief, he's the Dodge stereotypes pretty well with him. He's yeah, very proud of his traditions and stuff and where they come from, but he's also, I mean, he like not everyone's right with him on that. He starts to get lost in his story about the stampede, like my father before him and his father before him, to all the buffalo even are falling asleep, and the little Strongheart like nudges him like, come on, move on with it, and so yeah, I mean he's very proud and he's dignified, but he's also pretty funny. So okay, and then so what was it? Yeah, set up well. They establish that it's important to the buffalo, but I mean it's not, they don't try to make it into a grander cause than that. So okay, so but Rainbow Dash nonetheless, I mean that's still, the buffalo got totally screwed, and she is the element of loyalty, and it seems like, and loyal to her values. She stands by what's right, and even though we were all expecting her to hold a grudge, we all probably wanted to see her get up for round 2. She hears that, and she completely takes their side. She's like, come on, Rainbow, they had a good reason. She gets up, surprises everybody. I'll say they had a good reason. Come on, we're gonna take you to talk about this. She now like really wants to help because she doesn't like the thought of somebody getting screwed over like that. So again, like I said, sticking to her values, and I felt like that was a really strong character moment for her, even though they do sort of overplay it. All the buffalo stand back and gasp, but I digress. Okay, so I say I digress a lot, don't I? I digress. Okay, the others are about to leave the town to go search for them when Rainbow Dash and Pinkie Pie and Spike, they meet them at the front, right where they're about to leave, and they start to explain that they brought Little Strongheart here to talk to them about why they should move the apple orchard and stuff. So, and Brayburn is actually, he's willing to listen because like both he and Little Strongheart are like, okay, we would appreciate hearing the other point of view, getting somewhere. But then Applejack and Rainbow Dash both start talking over them because I mean, Rainbow, like we said, she really wants to see these wrongs righted, but Applejack is really loyal to her family, and she respects how much work they put into this and how they need the apple orchard to live. So I mean, she doesn't want to talk. She wants Brayburn to get in Little Strongheart's face and say like, let me tell you why you should leave this orchard alone, and there is nowhere else to plant one either. So in the end, even though Applejack and Rainbow Dash are kind of throwing reason out being reasonable out the window and just getting in each other's face, eventually everyone still has to concede that there's not an easy solution here. And Twilight, there's subtle moments with her about how she is the leader, even though I mean there are a lot of great moments for everyone else in this episode. Her just sort of this one subtle one where she takes the lead. She's like, okay, they both have a very good reason to use it. This isn't getting us anywhere. We have to think of something. So okay, but and then Pinkie Pie of all the ponies, she decides she has an idea. She wants to put on a big happy song about why they should share and care, and this is a reference to the Old West cabaret dancers because she invites all the buffalo and the townspeople and gets on stage with this big performance, this slapdash little number with Spike playing the piano with there's a lot. We eat hay and oats, like we at each other's throats. Just what we have in common and all that. But it ends, and the chief and the sheriff say they've come to an agreement that it was the worst performance they've ever seen, which kind of harsh. It was slapdash, but it was a little catchy. But okay, no, they absolutely hated it, and now they are just hearing it has made them want to fight with each other now. So okay, and the buffalo vow to run through the next day, whether the orchard and the town are there or not, and if they are there, they're gonna flatten everything. So, and then the sheriff just said, okay, bring it on. We're not compromising either. We're gonna fight you off. And okay, so now both Applejack and Rainbow Dash, they're they step back a little. They're like, well, we didn't want that. I mean, isn't there? They both try to go around, and the rest of the gang too. Talking to the settlers, and the Rainbow Dash, the buffalo, there's got to be another way. You don't really want to do this, but I mean, settlers, they see a threat coming down, they're ready to batten down the hatch, prepare. The chief, he, you can tell he doesn't really want to do this, and Rainbow Dash even points that out, but he's, too proud not to, so, okay. And, that's pretty much it. The buffalo arrived the next day, the town has built stockades, and baked apple pies of all things, because, I don't know, I guess they wanted to, I guess they thought a pie fight fit the mood they were going for. That was the one odd choice I might have to take points off for, obviously they can't do, cowboy guns or anything, but, I don't know, apples and slingshots maybe, or something like that, be more convincing, but, okay, even so, yeah, the chief, he is about to change his mind right when the, clock strikes noon, when they said they were going to attack, the little Strongheart, who I think she's supposed to be his daughter, she just kind of pats him on the shoulder or whatever, and he looks like he's about to relent, and then Pinkie Pie starts singing her song again, so, which, infuriates him all over again, and he charges through, knocks her over, because, which, they timed that perfectly, too, where, right when everybody's about to breathe a sigh of relief, Pinkie Pie starts singing her song again, like she thinks it's gonna help, so, okay, well played. So, anyway, the buffalo, they break right through the stockades the town had set up, but the apple pies are surprisingly effective, go figure. They just, hit them right in the face and then make them veer off course or trip over them, trip and fall, so it's a pretty even fight. A few ponies do get rammed and tossed, but, the buffalo, too, are having a tough time with all of this, and then, after a little bit of pie fighting, we get to the shot where the chief is about to charge the sheriff, and, the sheriff, he's out of pies, so he's defenseless. He takes off his hat, gets ready to be knocked out of the town, but, right at the last second, the pie hits Chief Thunderhooves, who, stumbles, falls. Everybody inexplicably thinks he's down for the count. I don't know if this was supposed to be funny or what, but regardless, the town stops fighting. They're, all, kind of hugging each other, like, oh, this is so sad, which, I don't know, I guess this was supposed to be, half parody of, these kinds of final battle scenes, and it does kind of work, actually. It's, just a high-energy, lightweight scene, and it's a lot more action-packed than a lot of what we've had lately, so, on just even if it was, even in for a lighthearted action scene, I still appreciated it, but, okay, so, yeah. Well, next he kind of, starts to lick it off his face then and realizes that apple pies taste good, which, again, I don't know. Somehow this is, half played for comedy. I don't know if I can do it justice, but it just kind of works somehow. I can't explain. They found the right tone. It was lightweight, but still got the point across, so it was fun. And, alright, then he just sits up, after it licks it all off his face, after, realizing he really likes apple pies now, and he thinks of that elusive better solution everyone's been on. The buffalo will allow the townsfolk to stay in exchange for, well, one, they have to cut something of a path through the apple orchard so the buffalo can at least get through, and then they also have to give them some of the apple pies, and, that's fair, it's the buffalo's land, so, payment for using it, but, okay, now everybody has what they want, and, let's see, Applejack and Rainbow Dash actually both go for a run down the trail with the buffalo, just sort of a goodbye run, and, right next to Little Strongheart, and I think that's pretty much it. Well, Pinkie Pie, as Twilight writes the letter to the princess about how the moral is share and care, Pinkie Pie is outraged that she thought of the moral before it was cool, but, nothing she can do, so, and that's pretty much it, and, I think I've pretty much woven my thoughts as I was, summarizing there, but, just, this episode's right back up to par. Lots of great character moments. I said Applejack at the beginning, that was adorable, but, we also established how she, is still very proud and can be very stubborn, so there was that. There was, Rainbow Dash getting competitive with the buffalo, but also trying to stand by what's right. That was really strong. But Rarity had her little moments there, which, that was fun for what it was, and, Pinkie Pie, right back up to par. Fluttershy, how she wants to be a tree. I don't know. It's like it's almost like without even trying, like this show is just really good at showing us these characters. Like they don't even have to think about it, at least when it's at its best. And I mean, this conflict they create some pretty good new characters. I mean, the little Strongheart character is pretty likable. The Chief is, you can tell how he represents the pride and the dignity of the buffalo, but I mean, it's not too self-important. He can also be very funny. I mean, he's not a saint. He's just a guy. He's a proud guy. He's a leader, but he's just a guy. And I mean, in this town too, they, like I said, they do give you their perspective too. I mean, this cousin we meet of Applejack's, he's a really nice guy. He's very excited about everything his town has. He's really proud of what they've made. So I mean, he thinks they're just trying to make a living. They're just trying to live, and these buffalo have a problem with that. So I mean, they have their side of the story too. So I mean, and it's very clear what all of this represents. If skipping out on the part where there was some genocide and some parties getting very screwed over, but yeah, regardless, this is a pretty good introduction to the concept, I think, for the kids who will be watching this, of boiling it down to sort of a share and care message. There's a lot that could be applied to, and I mean, and even though there's more to the what they're referencing here, that I guess is like that side of it is probably better off learned when you're older and when you have a more mature perspective. This part, that's an important part of the lesson to learn too, and that can be applied to a lot of things. So I mean, it's an episode with a point to it there, and you also have to give it points for that. And but yeah, it doesn't get bogged down in its point though. It lets itself be lighthearted without just enough so that it's fun, but they're still taking the point seriously. They still want this to be a valid moral, and they still want you to get behind the causes on both sides. So definitely appreciated that. And I mean, it's just high energy. Like you get behind Rainbow sneaking along on her little mission to rescue Spike. And yeah, I mean, that just, you start to wonder, like the buffalo, they surround them, but then they're ready to let her go with Spike. It's like, okay, how's this gonna turn out? You start to get invested in what all of this is, and just like I said, we do get a little action scene at the end there. That's just a lighthearted bit of fun. That let's see. I don't know. I mean, I not at once there, but I mean, this one does a really good job of balancing all 6 main characters. In some ways, even better than the second intro episode, the Friendship is Magic Part 2, because that I think some moments were better than others there. But like I said, this one, everyone is great, and great character moments, a conflict you really get invested in, new characters that are likable, new stakes that you appreciate. So, and all the way around, I think that, except for just a pie fight at the end, which maybe was taking things a little too light, other than that, I think it pretty much knocked it out of the park. So, yeah, this I'd say is one of their best episodes so far, and yeah, so I'll know better next time. I mean, from now on, I'll know that, yeah, if we hit a light patch, this seems like every time this show might be on the decline, they come back with some really good ones. So I'll make sure to really, hold off from now on before I, let 1 or 2 episodes, or 3 in a row that were, but no. I'll know better next time. So, okay, but still, where will, I mean, if every episode from now on is like this, I mean, yeah, maybe it just might win me over, but because I just really enjoyed the heck out of this. But I mean, yeah, we'll see if it continues along the path it's been on so far. Sort of peaks and valleys, but overall, very above average, well, a very good show for what it is overall. Then I mean, I'll acknowledge it as such. I'll keep saying it's right up there with the good examples of like the cartoons that kids should be watching today and can be appreciated by anyone. So okay, we'll see where it goes from here. And starting with a bird in the hook or on the, I don't know. But, next one is a bird something to hook. So okay, see ya.